Okay, so we need to talk about Jenna Ortega's stylist for a sec and recent style evolution because, yes, everyone is obsessed with the season 2 premiere of Wednesday and it is finally here. And of course, everyone is obsessed with the show, but I think if you've been paying attention to the press tour and press release images, you'll know that the fashion around the press tour really deserves its whole own episode, its whole own conversation, and I'm really talking about Jenna Ortega's recent style level up at the moment because I saw these recent images which, to be honest, has had the whole internet in this major chokehold, and it really just struck me because when I first saw this image specifically, I didn't even know that it was Jenna Ortega when I first saw it, and that's because I just think recently she has leveled up so much. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to break down some of my favorite looks from Jenna recently and also talk about the creative force behind them, her stylist, and I also want to dissect the looks and dissect this fashion level up in general to think about the kind of takeaways that we can bring into our own wardrobe. So that's what we are going to talk about today, and let's just get into it. Okay, so to get into the looks, the first one that we have to talk about is this viral look from Ashi Studios, and this is what Jenna wore to the global premiere of Wednesday in London, I believe, and this is the look, this is the outfit that has gone the most viral online. I believe this is from Ashi Studios couture collection, specifically the Fall 25 couture collection, and it's look 27. The second look that I want to talk about is this Valentino look, and specifically it's a Alessandro Michele Spring 26 look, or it's from the Spring 26 collection, and of course it's all kind of centered around this beautiful faux fur or fur jacket, which is very on theme as well. And again, I think it's all brought to life through the makeup, through the hair, through the styling. If you just look at the shoes, they're absolutely incredible as well. And the next look, which to be honest is probably my second favorite compared to the first one, compared to the Ashi Studios one, and it's this Fenty piece. And again, I just think this is so interesting because of the material. I don't know exactly what this dress or what this piece was made out of, but it almost looks like wood or varnished wood, and I really don't know how they've achieved this, but I think it looks so luxurious, so expensive. I believe this was from Fenty's Fall Winter 25 collection, so it would be interesting to see how this looked on the runway or even how it looks without all this styling, but personally I just think this is so incredible. Moving on to the part of the press tour where Jenna was in Seoul, she wore this incredible Simone Rocha look, and I think that this is a lot more wearable. It feels a lot more everyday compared to some of the other red carpet looks, and this could be due to the fact that it's not a couture piece. It's actually a mix of a few different seasons from Simone Rocha, but I do just think overall the styling of this outfit, the styling of this look does just feel a bit more everyday. Like, you could imagine someone wearing this around London, someone wearing this around a city. The next one is again another look that I feel has had the internet in a absolute chokehold, and it's this Vivienne Westwood look. And in a way, I think this Vivienne Westwood look has gone super viral, like the Ashi Studio look, because it almost feels a bit more costumey. It feels like a very stereotypical gothic outfit, but executed in a fresh, contemporary, and really amazing way. I also wanted to mention this Willy Chevalier look that Jenna wore in New York, and I wanted to mention this one even though I haven't seen it as much on the internet. Maybe it has gone as equally viral as well, but personally I haven't seen this image circulating as much, but I just think it's so incredible because of the really sharp tailoring and exaggerated tailoring and proportions. I also wanted to mention finally this Anne Delamista look as well. Again, I do think this is a bit more of a wearable look, a bit like the Simone Rocha one, because because you could imagine someone wearing this in a city out for drinks or out for dinner, but it's just the way that it's been executed is so good. Like, all of these looks, there has been such a pristine attention to detail when you think of the styling, the makeup, the hair, and the clothing pieces. And I do think you can take so much inspiration from this look, but from all of the looks. And I am going to get into that, and I'm going to get into the tips that we can dissect from all of these incredible looks. But before I do that, I do want to talk about Jenna's stylist. So the creative force behind all of this. So Jenna's stylist is called Enrique Melendez. So what you need to know is that this is all the work, all of these looks are the creative work of Enrique Melendez. And Enrique is Jenna's longtime stylist, and he's also the visionary behind these red carpet looks and basically her whole press tour transformation. And he did start working with Jenna back in 2016. So she was just 14 at the time, which is kind of crazy to think about having a stylist at 14, but because of that, because she started working with him when she was so young and they started forming this relationship, her style has really evolved with him. And basically Enrique's approach to his styling is all centered around storytelling. So he really brings this more music mindset or music industry mindset into his styling. So every outfit is almost a performance. There's a narrative, and it's a reflection on who the client is becoming, which I think is just so fitting to the Wednesday press tour, but also Jenna's kind of style evolution as a whole. I think it's pretty obvious that Enrique has really helped Jenna evolve her style from something quite sweet and quite youthful into now something more layered, more sophisticated, and definitely more avant-garde in recent looks as well. And I still think it all feels very her though. Like, there's been this natural evolution of her style. It still feels very authentic, but it definitely feels very leveled up. And this is where it gets quite interesting, because now I want to break down and think about what we can take away from all of this styling philosophy and bring it into our own wardrobe. So what I've done is put together 4 points, and they are a bit broad and up for interpretation, but they're basically what I think and what I've dissected from all of this styling philosophy that I think could help us level up our own style. So I'm going to go through that right now. And the first point and the first thing that I have on my list is called fashion as storytelling. So if you think about what I was saying about Enrique's whole styling philosophy, he always brings a narrative and storytelling into whatever look that he's putting together, and it really is central to his practice as a stylist in a way. And I personally do think that there is something to be said for bringing this kind of narrative into getting dressed every single day, because number one, it could help you just romanticize your life a bit more. Like, it could make fashion more fun by having a story connected to every outfit or having a narrative connected to every outfit. But overall, and more to this, I think it could also help you be more intentional with your outfits. So obviously we're not going to go out and literally start method dressing because we don't have any reason to, but I do think having a bit of a narrative or trying to bring some kind of storytelling into every day when you're getting dressed could help you be more intentional with your style. And again, the second thing that I have written down on my list is also quite broad and up for interpretation, and I've called this point mood over consistency. And what I mean by this is because when I personally look at all of Jenna's recent looks, I don't think that there is just one look that she's been doing or trying out. It is more of an overall overall mood. So if you think about it, she's done gothic glamour, but she's also done these kind of futuristic metallic looks or a more masculine tailored look, but for some reason it does just all feel quite consistent and it does all work together cohesively. And I think one of the reasons why it is cohesive is because she's dressing for the moment or the occasion or the context that she's in, but she's still tying it to a overall theme, but it doesn't have to be rigidly stuck to signatures or similar pieces, but it is just an overall kind of mood and vibe. And I think that's quite a cool way to think about your own personal style, because I think it leaves room to evolve, it leaves room to try out new things, but there still is this through line and tie to your identity without diluting it by having the same exact piece or same signature. The signature is kind of the mood or the vibe. So I hope you know what I mean by that. I hope it makes sense, or if you disagree with that, I would love to know as well. But that's kind of what I get when I look at all of Jenna's recent outfits and kind of the styling philosophy behind them all. And the third point that I have is fit and silhouette matter, which is obviously something that we all know when it comes to styling. It's kind of the foundation of thinking about a good outfit. If something fits well, then it's probably 99% of the time going to look way better than if it doesn't fit well. But I do think that when looking at Jenna's outfits and looking at Enrique's styling, it just shows that this precision and this attention to pristine tailoring has really been the reason behind these looks being so iconic. So if you think about the snakeskin look, but also her pencil skirt as well, these wouldn't have been as amazing if they didn't fit so well to her body, if they weren't tailored to absolute precision. And I think that's just a great reminder that fit is so important. It's definitely something that I need to get so much better at in my wardrobe. I feel like I never really get things tailored, or I'm not too obsessed with the fit of clothing, but I do really want to be, because I think it can just level up an outfit so much, and it can really make you love your clothes so much as well. Because I think if you have a piece that you love the aesthetic or you love the brand, but it doesn't quite fit right, you probably won't feel that good when you put it on. But if you get every piece really tailored perfectly, then I think you're going to love it so much more, because you're going to feel way more comfortable in it. So I think that's just a great reminder for us all, myself especially, that fit and silhouette are so important. And the final point and the final thing that I have on this list is that designer pairings are strategic, or the thing that I have written down is designer pairing is strategic. And in a way, this last point kind of relates to the other points that I've mentioned, because what I mean by this is that Jenna really has paired the right designer at the right moment and the right context. So sometimes she's had a very couture-like piece, or other times it's felt a bit more ready to wear and wearable. And I do think that this is a great philosophy to take into your own personal style, because it kind of reminds me about this idea of high-low styling, which I mentioned in one of my previous videos. And this idea of high-low styling is that you can mix designer pieces with thrifted items or more basic foundational pieces as well. And I do think this is really an art, and it kind of makes your style feel more effortless, but it also keeps it quite adaptable, quite fluid, and it allows you to pair your personal style with what you're going into, so the moment or the context that you're going into. And that's kind of the vibe or the idea that I get from when I look at all of Jenna's recent looks, because she's really pairing the designer to the context of the location or the red carpet, and sometimes it feels super elevated, but sometimes it does feel more casual and more wearable. So again, that is definitely a bit of a broad tip, a broad takeaway, but I hope you know what I mean by it, and like all the others, I am intrigued to hear what you think of this. But kind of to wrap up and as a summary, to do a bit of a quick fire of all of the points that I've mentioned, I do think in terms of takeaways on what we can learn from Jenna and Enrique's masterclass in fashion is that outfits can always tell stories. 2, you're allowed to evolve and your style definitely should too. 3, cut and fit always matter a lot. And finally, styling can be strategic. It's not just about shopping from one brand or one specific piece or getting a specific shopping list. It's all about how you kind of curate it together into one outfit with the high and the low. So that was all of the tips that I have on my list. That was everything that I've dissected from looking at Jenna and Enrique's recent looks, and I do hope you have found them useful. I am really intrigued to hear if you disagree or agree, or what your interpretation is of all of this. So I really hope you enjoyed this video overall. Message me on Instagram if you want to chat, and until the next one, have a great day. Bye.